Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're getting into something pretty interesting, quite audacious actually, happening with AIFEEX. We're not talking small adjustments here. They've essentially hit a massive reset button on their whole system. So our mission today is to, cut through the noise, really understand the strategic thinking behind this big pivot, and figure out what it might mean for them going forward, and maybe even for the broader crypto space.
Yeah, it's fascinating because AIFEEX isn't just reacting to market trends. This feels like a fundamental transformation that's calculated, almost surgical, the way they're overhauling things. And it really makes you ask, right, what's the long-term strategy? Why make such a radical change when, most projects just tweak things bit by bit? Understanding the why here is, I think, really crucial for anyone watching how crypto and traditional finance are starting to intersect.
Exactly. And when we say reset, we really mean it. Like wiping the slate clean. It's not just adjusting a few settings. They've fundamentally changed core parts of how they operate.
Let's maybe walk through the specific things they're doing right now, because it paints a pretty clear picture. First off, they've canceled all annual staking, period. Gone.
Right. No more locking up funds long-term in that specific way. That's a big first move.
And then following that, they're unlocking all the principal and profit for people already in the system, and they're doing it fast within a 100-day window. So it's not about holding on to funds.
No, it signals they want to return capital quickly and move everyone onto the new system. A clean break.
And here's where it gets really interesting, I think. They've completely scrapped the referral and the VIP systems. Think about that. So many crypto projects basically run on those kinds of incentives.
Absolutely. It's almost baked into the model for many. Removing them is a bold statement. It says we're building something different, something maybe based more on merit or equal footing. Yeah. Seems like a push for fairness. And to underline that and maybe control things a bit more, they've put a hard limit on total staking rewards, capped at 30 million AIFEX tokens. That's it. Not a suggestion, a firm ceiling.
Which is critical for managing supply. We'll probably get into that later. It prevents endless token creation.
Definitely. And the final big piece for transparency. They're adjusting all the prices you see inside the app, making them match the actual market price on the DAX, the decentralized exchange, which is what, around $3 right now?
Yes, roughly $3. This gets rid of those illusory prices, as some call them, where the app might show a much higher value than what you could actually get on the open market.
Right, so now it's one unified, transparent price. Put it all together. It's not tweaking. It's a full reboot.
It really is. And if we zoom out a bit, connect these actions to the bigger strategy. These aren't random moves. From my perspective, these are driven by three really powerful strategic reasons. It signals they're aiming for a much bigger stage. The first, and maybe the most important one, it's clear preparation for launching their AI-CEX. That's their centralized exchange.
Okay, AI-CEX, scheduled for September 2025.
Correct. And a CEX, it's a public marketplace, transparent, auditable. It's designed to bring in a wider range of investors, including the big institutions. Now, imagine trying to launch a serious CEX while still having those weird price differences, like $150 in the app versus $3 on the market.
Yeah, that wouldn't fly. Not with serious investors.
Exactly. Or keeping a VIT system where some people get special treatment. It just kills credibility instantly, especially for traditional finance folks who demand absolute clarity. A lot of projects have stumbled right there. AIFEX, by cleaning house now, is making a very smart, proactive move. They're making sure their foundation is solid before they open the doors to a global audience.
Okay, so step one is clean house for the CEX launch. Makes sense. What's the second driver?
The second one ties right into that. Building confidence with new types of investors. Think about institutional money or even just regular investors who maybe find DeFi a bit complex, a bit opaque sometimes.
Decentralized finance, right? Peer-to-peer, no central body. Can be confusing.
It can be. And those illusory prices or complex referral schemes can feel like games or gimmicks to outsiders. By getting rid of all that, sticking to real market prices, ensuring equal access, AIFEX is basically signaling they're ready for the main stage, the real arena of global finance. They're saying, look, we're a serious, straightforward financial product. That builds trust. And trust is gold in this space.
Okay, building trust, appealing to a wider, perhaps more traditional audience. Got it. And the third reason?
The third is about controlling the coin supply. Engineering scarcity, really. That 30 million AIFEX cap on staking rewards. It's not just about neat numbers, it stops unlimited coin printing. In many projects, constant staking rewards can lead to inflation, watering down the value of each token over time.
Right, more supply, same demand, price goes down.
Precisely. By capping the supply from staking, AIFEX is creating a scarcity model. So when real demand picks up, hopefully through their CEX, that demand meets a finite, controlled supply. That's basic economics for driving value. It sets the stage for potential price growth based on actual market dynamics, not just artificial inflation.
That is a bold strategy. Cleaning house, capping supply. Yeah, it sounds strategically solid, but there's always risk, right? What about the existing users, people who maybe like the old system, the referrals, the VIP perks? Could this alienate them? Is it sort of short-term pain for long-term gain?
I think it absolutely is short-term pain, potentially, for some users. But it's a calculated risk. Any major shift like this risks upsetting some part of your base. That's unavoidable. However, AIFEX seems to be betting, and I think it's a smart bet, that the long-term benefits of credibility, transparency, and attracting a much larger market, that those benefits will far outweigh any temporary grumbling. They're clearly prioritizing sustainable global growth. They're choosing the path that scales, even if it means leaving behind structures that wouldn't work on that bigger stage. For experienced investors, that kind of decisiveness is often seen as a very positive sign, a sign of maturity.
Okay, that makes sense. Prioritizing the bigger picture. So they've done this massive cleanup, a huge undertaking. But what comes next? What's the grand plan after the reset? This feels like step one of something much larger.
You're spot on. This reset isn't the end goal, it's the launch pad. They have a very clear multi-phase strategy laid out, a roadmap towards really integrating into the global market.
Okay, let's hear it. What are the phases?
Well, phase one is what we've just been discussing. Reset and transparency, this is the current stage. Getting the foundation right. Straightforward staking, fair pricing, building that trust. You can't build high without a solid base, right?
Okay, foundation first. What's phase two?
Phase two is the big one we mentioned. Launching their AI-CEX, that's planned for September 2025. They're setting up their own centralized exchange, specifically in Hong Kong, a major global financial hub. That location choice is significant.
Definitely signals global ambition.
Exactly. And the goal is clear. Attract serious trading volume. But it's not just another exchange. They're integrating tech. They plan to use what they call AI arbitrage. Essentially, smart algorithms trying to balance prices between the DAX and their new CEX.
Oh, so using AI to keep prices consistent across different platforms.
Precisely. It helps ensure stability, efficiency, and makes the market more attractive for large traders. It's a sophisticated touch.
Okay, CEX launch with AI integration. That's ambitious. What's phase three?
Phase three is where it gets really, really ambitious, connecting to the global capital market. They're aiming for this by the end of the year following the CEX launch. So, after establishing their CEX, the plan is to prepare for listing on major traditional stock exchanges.
Wow, like which ones?
They've specifically mentioned targeting the HKEX, the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, and even Nasdaq. This is about moving beyond just crypto. It's about becoming a recognized, regulated player in the mainstream financial world.
HKEX and Nasdaq by year-end after the CEX launch. That sounds incredibly fast.
No.
Almost too fast. What are the major roadblocks there? Surely getting onto Nasdaq isn't straightforward for a crypto-related entity.
You're absolutely right to flag that. The timeline is aggressive, no doubt, and execution is everything. The regulatory hurdles for listings like HKEX and Nasdaq are immense. Huge. They'll need bulletproof compliance, proven operational stability, robust governance, things many crypto projects haven't historically focused on. It requires a deep understanding of traditional market rules. It's a massive undertaking. However, the strategy of building the transparent, regulated-feeling CEX first is smart. It's designed to address many of those concerns systematically. They're building credibility step by step, not just jumping in blind. But yes, phase three is the highest hurdle.
Okay, so a very ambitious phased approach. Reset, CEX, then global exchanges. Bringing it all together then, what really makes AIFEX stand out in what's, let's be honest, a very crowded crypto space? What makes this strategy compelling?
That's the key question, isn't it? It's not just one single thing. It's how all these pieces fit together, the orchestration. Each phase seems designed to enable the next. It's a very coherent vision.
So what are the key differentiators that emerge from this plan?
Okay, first, I'd say their radical commitment to engineered transparency. Getting rid of illusory prices, ditching referral schemes. In a space often plagued by, well, less than transparent practices, this is huge. It's not just ethics, it's strategy. It's the price of admission for serious institutional players.
Building that essential trust, like you said.
Exactly. Second, the strategic entry into the CEX space with their own AI-powered exchange, building it themselves in Hong Kong, using AI for stability. That shows sophistication.
Right.
They're not just listing somewhere, they're controlling their gateway to regulated markets, owning the infrastructure.
Okay, transparency and owning the CEX gateway. What else?
Third, that controlled supply. The 30 million AIFEEX cap, it's smart economics, building in scarcity from the start, aiming for value driven by real demand within their ecosystem, not just endless printing. It contrasts sharply with projects facing inflation issues.
So sound money principles, basically.
You could say that, applied proactively. And finally, the sheer ambition of the global market integration. Targeting HKEX and Nasdaq ties it all together. It signals they're not content being just a crypto project. They're aiming for the big leagues of global finance. It's this combination, the engineered transparency, the strategic CEX, the controlled supply, and the global vision, all working together. That's what makes the narrative powerful and distinct.
Okay, that lays it out clearly. Now, for someone listening, you might be thinking, all right, interesting strategy, but why should I care about AIFEEX's moves? This isn't just about one company's plan, right? It feels like it tells us something bigger about how crypto projects might need to evolve.
Absolutely. What AIFEX is doing here is essentially trying to build a very solid bridge. They're taking concepts from DeFi, which can seem complex or risky to outsiders, and they're streamlining them, making them simpler, more transparent, more palatable for a global audience, from regular folks to big institutions. So for someone new to crypto, this kind of setup potentially lowers the barrier to entry. Less complexity, less perceived risk with things like pricing. It's a cleaner entry point.
Less intimidating, maybe?
Perhaps. And for more experienced investors, the clear strategy, the supply control, the focus on regulated markets, that signals a project potentially built for the long haul, one that's thinking about institutional adoption and sustainable value. It suggests a level of strategic foresight and discipline that's attractive if you're looking beyond quick flips towards more mature, stable growth potential in the digital asset world. They're trying to build credibility where it's often lacking.
Right. So summing up our deep dive today, AIFEX is making bold moves, strategically clearing the decks, getting rid of old systems, embracing transparency, all to prepare for opening a new market with their AI-powered CEX in Hong Kong, aiming for serious volume and stability. And then, the big goal, stepping onto the world stage by connecting to global stock exchanges like HKEX and Nasdaq. It feels very deliberate, very planned.
It certainly does. And, this whole process highlights a potential trend we might see more of. Projects actively rebuilding their foundations to meet the expectations of the broader financial world. Moving from the Wild West phase towards maturity, it really raises a fascinating question for the future. Could this kind of reset for transparency become the new benchmark, the new standard for crypto projects that genuinely want global adoption and long-term survival? Are we seeing the start of an era where, strategic vision and disciplined execution become the key differentiators for success in crypto, forcing a higher bar for everyone aiming for the mainstream?
That's a great question to leave our listeners with. Something to really think about. Is this the template for future success? It's definitely a project and a strategy to watch. That's all the time we have for this deep dive on FOX. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next time for more insights.